Maraming strength program ang proven na nakakapagpalakas, kagaya ng Russian squat program, 5-3-1 method, at Smolov. Ang problema, dahil designed ito for strength athletes, mataas ang volume at intensity nito at hindi advisable na pagsabayin sa ibang training kagaya ng CrossFit. Kaya nag-research ako ng mga principles ng strength training at nahanap ko itong 3 oras na episode sa Huberman Lab podcast kasama ang kilalang human performance scientist na si Dr. Andy Galpin. Pinakinggan ko ito sa lahat ng bakanting oras, sa sasakyan, habang naglalakad, at kahit habang... At finally, nakahanap rin ako ng efficient na strength training para sa akin. Nalaman ko rin ang isang sikreto para mas maging effective ang strength training. Pero bago natin pag-usapan yon, i-differentiate muna natin ang strength training sa bodybuilding. Sa popular belief sa mga bago pa lang sa fitness scene na the way to build strength is basically to do bodybuilding. Although you will naturally gain some strength when you gain muscles, that is not the most efficient way to build strength. Sa bodybuilding, ang goal nila is hypertrophy and symmetry, which nakukuha through high repetitions and isolation, not necessarily by lifting heavy weights. While ang focus naman ng strength training is to improve athletic ability and the capability to move heavy weights by, of course, lifting heavy and improving the skill on that certain lift. At yung pagkakaiba sa goal or sa purpose ng dalawang practices na ito ang dahilan kung bakit maraming bodybuilders ang sobrang laki ng katawan pero hindi gaano kabigat ng buhat at marami ring weightlifters ang hindi naman gaano kaganda ng katawan pero sobrang bigat ng buhat. At dyan pumapasok ang principle of specificity. Essentially, specificity means that you must perform the skill in order to get better at it. In this case, what we want to get better at is lifting heavy, and therefore, the way to improve on that is to lift heavy. Merong mga strength programs that put specificity at its core kagaya ng Bulgarian method where athletes are required to lift 95% or higher 2 to 3 times a day for 6 days a week. Pero dahil ang ganitong klaseng training ay very dangerous, prone to injuries, at sobrang hirap ma-accomplish lalong-lalo na sa mga average athlete, hindi ito sustainable at hindi ito pangkaraniwang nire-recommend. Instead, ang nire-recommend ni Dr. Andy Galpin ay ang 3-to-5 method, which was first introduced by the legendary trainer Pavel Tsatsouline. And by far, ito ang pinakasimple at pinaka-versatile na strength program na nasubukan ko. Kaya siya tinawag na 3-to-5 method kasi you train 3 to 5 days a week, pick 3 to 5 exercises, do 3 to 5 reps for each exercise, do 3 to 5 sets each exercise, and you rest for 3 to 5 minutes in between sets. Merong 5 modifiable variables ang 3 to 5 method. Ang unang modifiable variable is exercise choice. Sa strength training, kapag pipili ka ng exercise, kailangan yung compound, multi-jointed exercise kagaya ng squats, deadlift, bench press, push press, at marami pang iba. Kailangan din baguhin ang approach to training. Instead of training per muscle group, he recommends training per movement pattern. So these are your push, pull, hinge, squat, loaded carry, and rotation. So the next modifiable variable is order. Kung ikaw ay CrossFit or hybrid athlete kagaya ko, marami ka ring ibang ginagawa aside sa strength training. Sa isang araw, pwede kang merong skill, strength, metcon, paminsan meron pang accessory, or long duration cardio at the end. If that's the case, Dr. Andy Galpin recommends to do the strength first. That's because strength exercises are very dependent on the quality of the movement. That way, wala pang ibang muscles na nag-fatigue, allowing you to perform the exercises with quality. So, ang pangatlong modifiable variable is volume. Napag-usapan natin ito kanina, so bali ang volume is 3 to 5 reps for 3 to 5 sets. In general, kapag mas mabigat yung percentage ng bubuhatin mo, pwedeng mas liliitan mo yung number of reps para hindi maapektuhan yung quality ng movement mo. Okay, so the fourth modifiable variable is intensity or yung bigat ng kinakarga mo. Ideally, dapat yung bigat ng kinakarga mo is 70% of your 1 rep max pataas. If you're doing 70% and below on the same number of reps, you're actually doing power. The majority of your working sets should be in the 75 to 85%. A few should be in the 90% and seldom sa 100%. Usually only pag competitions lang. Para malaman mo ang optimal rep range based sa percentage, ni-recommend ni Dr. Andy Galpin na i-check ang Prilipin's chart, which I will also link in the description below. So basically, this is how you use it. If you're doing 5 reps at 75%, ideally, dapat nasa 3 to 4 sets ka para pasok sa ideal rep range na 12 to 24. The closer you are to the optimal rep range, which in this case is 18, the better. So based on the Prilipin's chart, The best number of sets and reps for 75% is 4 sets of 5 reps. So the fifth modifiable variable is frequency. We briefly touched on the frequency kanina when I explained that 3 to 5 days a week. Pero hindi kailangan 3 to 5 days per muscle. So basically, if you pick a squat movement, a push and pull movement, and a hinge movement, you can do the squat on a Monday, tapos yung push and pull sa Wednesday, and then yung hinge sa Friday. Okay, to recap, ang 5 modifiable variables sa strength training ay exercise choice, choose 3 to 5 compound movements, exercise order, do power and strength first, volume, do 3 to 5 reps for 3 to 5 sets, intensity, above 70% of your 1 rep max, frequency, 3 to 5 days a week. But all these things won't work unless you do this one principle that is the cornerstone of all fitness program, which is progressive overload. By definition, progressive overload is when you gradually increase the weight, frequency, or number of repetitions in your strength training routine. According to Dr. Galpin, there are 2 ways that you can do this. So the first one is to add 3 to 5% per week sa intensity ng binubuhat mo. And the second one is to add 5 to 10% sa total weekly volume ng ginagawa mo. So for example, I squat 70% of my 1 rep max. You can either increase the volume to 73% and keep the number of reps and sets next week, or you can keep the intensity to 70% of your 1 rep max and just make the volume 5 by 5 instead of 5 by 4. So pwede mo i-continue ang progression na ito for 8 weeks at the longest. Pero in practice, usually nasa 5 weeks na progression and then 1 week deload. Then sa next cycle, start ka sa mas mataas na percentage and then progress again for the next 5 weeks and then deload again for 1 week. Okay, so gawa tayo ng sample scenario para mas maintindihan nyo kung paano gamitin ang 3 to 5 method. Okay, so for example, you only have 3 days to do strength, and then on those days, hindi ka pwede lumagpas ng 1 hour. If this was me, this is what I would do. I'd start the first week of my 6-week cycle with 4 sets and 5 reps at 70% of my 1 rep max. So the total volume is 20 reps, which is pasok sa optimal range ng Prilipin's chart. So on Monday, I'd do squats. If I have more time, I'd do some accessories like Bulgarian split squats or some power exercises like high box jumps. Kung may natitira pa akong oras, I might add some bear hug walks para sa core strength. On Wednesday, I do 4 supersets of 5 bench press and 10 barbell rows, followed by 4 supersets of 5 push press and 10 pull-ups. Ang reason kung bakit dalawang push workouts ang ginawa ko is because I want to train the vertical push, which in this case is the push press, and the horizontal push, which in this case is bench press. Yung mga pulls, I made them as accessory kasi functionally speaking, wala namang movement na hihila ka ng something heavier than your body weight using only your back muscles. So, I am looking at this in a functional standpoint kasi there are more pulling movements na mas required ang muscle endurance kaysa sa strength. Again, specificity. On Friday, I do deadlifts. Then I do some rotation exercises like medicine ball throws, landmine twist, some power exercises like broad jumps, or some sled push for my calves. Every week, mag-a-add ako ng 3% sa aking load. So, next week, 73%. The week after that, 76%, and so on. So, in this 3-a-week program, I did 5 main strength exercises. The squats, bench press, push press, deadlifts, and the pulls but only as an accessory. Then, nag-add rin ako ng mga power exercises like yung mga box jumps, pati mga loaded carries for functional strength. So that's what I would do if I'm doing pure strength training 3 times a week. Feel free to adjust the movement, the rep scheme, and the intensity based on your personal goals. Okay, so we've discussed the how, pero hindi ko pa na-share sa inyo ang sikreto para sa strength training. Let me show you.
One last little thing I don't think we did justice is intention. And the reason I want to go back to this now is because we've talked a lot about specific loads you have to hit. And that's generally the case. But if intention is there, you can fudge those numbers in terms of how much load goes on the bar. So you could theoretically see large improvements in strength at 50% of your 1 rep max if you're contracting as hard as possible.
In-emphasize ni Dr. Galpin ang intent when you're doing strength training. So dapat every rep mo, iniisip mo na iangat yung weight as fast as possible para ma-achieve mo yung stimulus na kailangan para ma-improve yung strength. According to Dr. Galpin, simply having the intent to lift the bar as fast as possible, even if it did not translate to physical speed, can help improve your strength gains. And that's it for this video. If interesado ka sa mga ganitong klaseng content, I'd highly recommend that you subscribe to this channel and click the notification bell para hindi mo ma-miss every time naglalabas ako ng bagong content. This channel is about performance. I talk about CrossFit, strength training, cardio, and more. I also share with you my workouts para may idea ka how I train. If interesado ka mag-CrossFit pero di ka pa sigurado, make sure to check out this video where I will share with you 5 reasons why you should do CrossFit. Alright, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.